Hi everybody, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today we're teaming up with some amazing bakers and we're going to be making a very cute, very festive holiday Barbie cake. I'll be baking along with Serendipity Bakery, the Robin's Nest, and Flour, Eggs, and Yeast to bring you some festive holiday Barbie cakes. So be sure to visit the channels participating in this launch alongside today. I've linked them below and welcome you to participate too by using the hashtag and launching your own Christmas doll cake by the end of this month so we can find your video. I'll be sure to throw links to the recipe for my chocolate cake, buttercream frosting, all my tips and tricks and tools that I use to make my own holiday Barbie cake so you can do the same right in your own kitchen with confidence. And of course, if you want even more delicious recipes that you can make right at home, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell down below to receive notifications every time I post a new recipe. Now, that's enough talking. Let's go ahead and get started with our decorating for our delicious, super festive, kind of super cute holiday Barbie cake. Once we have a nice layer of vanilla buttercream right on that first layer of cake, we're going to take a small offset spatula and we're going to go ahead and we're just going to smooth that over as we gently rotate our cake turntable. After we have that nice layer, we're going to add the top layer of our cake. Now for our doll cake, I actually bought a specific pan just for this cake. I'll throw a link down below in the description if you're interested with it. I just got it on Amazon. I think it was like $8 or $9. It's kind of, I'd say about like a 6 inch, yeah, 6 inch, I think so, right? Yeah. But I like it, and actually I think I can have other uses for this. So again, I'll throw a link down below. It's very useful. If you don't have one though, and you don't feel like having one, you can always, of course, carve your cake to have a nice kind of a dress shape. Yeah, a dress shape. But anyway, let's go ahead and add our next layer of chocolate cake right on top of that buttercream layer. Then we're gonna go back in with that offset spatula, and we're just gonna go ahead and take the excess buttercream frosting and smooth that over. With even more buttercream frosting, we're going to go ahead and we're going to begin to cover the outside of our cake. Not too heavy with the buttercream, just kind of just a nice light layer to give a nice crumb coat so we can put our fondant on nice and smoothly. Now back in with that same offset spatula and let's begin to smooth our buttercream frosting so we have a nice almost thin layer of coating around our cake to catch all the crumbs. And you want to make sure that it's thin enough that you can see the cake and crumbs through it. But don't worry about any visible crumbs. Trust me, it's all part of that process. So we're just going to smooth the icing as best as we can and let dry until it crusts over or feels dry to the touch. Because we want that crumb coat to be dry before we apply either our final layer of icing or our fondant. Once we have that crumb coat, we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our rolled out fondant and we're just going to drape that over our cake. Once you have that fondant on top of your cake, we're going to go ahead and just begin to smooth it over, working our way from the top to the bottom of our cake. And then as we get to the bottom, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to ruffle it up and gently tug and give it some sort of motion. My goal here is to really make this fondant look like fabric. So I'm going to be working it a little more than I usually would. Once you're happy with your fondant, go ahead, grab your Barbie, grab your doll, and feet first, we're going to gently press this from the top of our cake into the bottom about 3.5 inches into the cake. Now what I did next is take a trapezoid piece of fondant, trapezoid, and I'm going to use that to wrap her into the cake. So we're going to take that and we're going to wrap it around her and smooth those edges into that first layer of fondant that we put on top of our cake. To make sure she doesn't go anywhere now that she's in the cake, I'm going to go ahead and take that first layer of fondant and I'm actually going to roll it down and press it into the Barbie doll and gently into the cake on that top layer of fondant. Once she's nice and snug, I'm going to grab another piece of trapezoid fondant and wrap the top part of her body in that same red fondant that's going to match the bottom of the dress. Now for the seams, and to actually give this fondant this really kind of gentle, almost fabric effect to it, so it looks like fabric as best as it can, I'm going to bust out some fondant tools. Again, I'll link these in the description down below if you don't have any, or if you're interested to kind of see what they are and what they do. But I'm gonna just be using a little tiny fondant I'm gonna be using a tiny little fondant tool, and I'm gonna create these kind of just fabric creases into the fondant by gently dragging it on the fondant and gently pressing my fondant tool into the cake. Again, with the goal being to really give this fondant more of a fabric feel and look to it and kind of look like she's in motion a little bit, while also help covering up and connecting any seams so it looks like one cohesive piece. Now, using 2007 Holiday Barbie as the inspiration, I'm gonna grab some white fondant and cut out a triangle about 6 inches long, maybe 5 inches, 6 inches long. I'm gonna take that, add a little water to the back of it, and gently press that on the front and sort of off to the side of the cake. Then we'll just go back in with another fondant tool and smooth that out, work it so the fondant kind of has like a nice little motion effect to it and looks like fabric. Now let's grab 2 6-inch long ovals of red fondant to panel that front of our cake where we just put our white fondant triangle. With our first red panel of fondant, we're going to go ahead, just lay that on top of the white triangle, slightly tugging it closer to the bottom and giving it that nice, again, that fabric feel, kind of in motion, she's ready to go to the party look. And then follow that up with our next red panel of fondant on the other side of that white triangle. Once both pieces are on, we're going to grab our fondant tool and we're going to just work it and gently give it some nice little rubbing, work out the ruffles and the seams. Again, main goal here, she's on the way to the party. We want to make this fondant dress look like fabric, like it's in motion, like she's just running to get to all of her holiday festivities. For our last piece of red fondant work, we're gonna grab about a 6-inch fondant circle and we're gonna give it that Pac-Man smile. So cut out a triangle on the right or left side, and then we're gonna take that and we're gonna wrap it around our doll's waist to add just another layer of fondant fabric to our holiday dress. Once you have that wrapped, you wanna grab a small paring knife and just cut off the excess. You have a nice seam that you can go ahead and close and mend together. And of course, with either your fingers or your trusty fondant tool, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna close up those seams of the fondant so it looks like it's fully covering around the dress. And we're just gonna work it a little bit, gently tugging it, giving it that lift in look and effect to the fondant so it looks like fabric. For our last piece of fondant, we're gonna grab a tiny, small 3 to 4 inch rectangle piece of black fondant, and we're gonna wrap that around the waist to bring our dress together with all of our fondant. And of course, once that's wrapped, we wanna go in with our hands or our fondant tools, smooth it over, and make sure that that is nice and stuck to that red fondant so her belt isn't going anywhere. With all of our fondant work nice and done, we can finally start decorating with some buttercream on the fondant to really bring this dress to that next holiday level of festivities. So with a piping bag filled with some vanilla buttercream, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna pipe the outline of our red fondant. Not only is this gonna give this dress the look and feel of kind of just white fur at the bottom of the dress, but it's also actually gonna help us clean this up a little bit for those seams that we were not able to close off completely and kind of help give it that nice clean finish. And of course, once you have that top layer of fondant boarded out with your white buttercream, you want to go ahead and just do the same thing with the bottom. If you want to use a little bit more buttercream here, definitely feel free to do so. Or if you want to use some tips to give it some rosettes or some rufflage, depending on the tips that you have, definitely go ahead and do that too. Now, even though our holiday Barbie has long hair and it's going to come and fall straight down the back, still want to go ahead and cover up those seams with a little more of that vanilla buttercream. So let's go ahead, grab that piping bag, and outline and work the back of our dress cake. Now I think it goes without saying that snowflakes are a nice holiday decor touch. So we're gonna take our leftover vanilla buttercream and we're just gonna pipe some snowflake designs around the outside top layer of our fondant dress to really bring this holiday theme to that next level. Now a nice little tip here is you could take a toothpick and actually outline your snowflakes before you pipe. This way you have a nice outline of your snowflakes, the ideas in your head already out in the fondant, and all you have to do is just pipe on those lines. How many snowflakes you add is going to be completely up to you. If you want to do other things like snowflakes, if you want to do trees, snowmen, reindeer, snowballs, Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, elves, whatever holiday inspiration you have for this dress, you grab your buttercream and you put that holiday inspiration right on this dress. For me, I want snow. I want a nice white Christmas, so we're going to add even more snowflakes to the top of our dress with even more vanilla buttercream. And just like that, with a couple of simple fondant working and some simple buttercream decorations, that's it. You're done. You have your own holiday Barbie cake. And if you're like me, you finally have your first holiday Barbie. I grew up with Hess trucks. What am I going to do with a Hess truck? I always wanted a holiday Barbie. Now I have a holiday Barbie. Not only is it a delicious, moist, perfectly rich, fudgy chocolate cake, it's also with plenty of fun, festive snowflakes. And hopefully, these snowflakes will bring some snow in Pittsburgh because it's been oddly warm, and I think we can all use a little white Christmas this holiday season because, yeah, maybe I want to build a snowman. I don't know. Maybe. I'd like to. It might be too cold. We'll see though. Well, thank you all for hanging out and stopping by today. I had so much fun making our own holiday Barbie inspired cake. If you're ready for the holidays, and if you like holiday festive cakes, give this video a like. It's going to help me out. Let me know what baking recipes you like, you enjoy, and of course you want to see more of. Plus, if you want even more delicious recipes that you can bake with confidence every single time, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to receive notifications every time I post a new video. And don't forget to check out Serendipity Bakery, The Robin's Nest, and Flour, Eggs, and Yeast for their own holiday inspired Barbie cake. Lastly, don't forget, if you make your own holiday inspired Barbie cake or your own holiday treats, give a tag on Instagram. Let me see what you're baking up in your kitchen. Alrighty, where I'm gonna go, I'm gonna slice into this cake, grab a cup of coffee, enjoy the day, enjoy the weather, maybe decorate for the holidays a little bit more. You can never have too much, but I hope you have a great, fantastic day, a great, fantastic holiday, and as always, I will see you in the next video very, very soon. Bye-bye.